The fabulous footballers scored an incredible 55 points during last night's game. Interestingly, the number of field goals was one more than twice the number of touchdowns. A field goal was one more than twice the number of touchdowns. The fabulous footballs earned 7 points for each touchdown. 7 points for each touchdown, and they earned 3 points for each field goal. Multiple choice. Which systems of equations below best represents this situation? Explain your reasoning. Assume that T represents the number of touchdowns. Wrong way. T is the number of touchdowns, and F represents the number of field goals. Okay, so let's see. The first thing we know is that they scored a total of 55 points, and every single touchdown generates 7, and each field goal represents 3. So I know that this equation right here is correctly tracking that, right? 7 points per touchdown, 3 per field goal, and that equals 55. And actually, that equation is repeated for choice I and for choice II also. So it could be either one of those. The other ones have it backwards, right? These ones are saying that each touchdown is 3 points and each field goal is 7. So I know the last two choices aren't correct. The other thing that we're told, and let me grab a different color for this, it says that, interestingly, the number of field goals was one more than twice the number of touchdowns. So field goals was one more than twice the number of touchdowns, and actually that's this equation, right? Field goal is twice the touchdowns plus one more, so that's one more than twice the number of touchdowns. So the choice for the first one is double I. This system of equations tracks that. And for the second one, it says solve the system of equations you selected in part A to determine how many touchdowns and how many field goals the fabulous footballers made last night. So the thing that we've been using is called the equal values method. One of our equations is, the first one there is F equals 2t plus 1. The other equation doesn't have F by itself. It's 7t plus 3F equals 55. So if I wanted to solve this, I would have to get, using the equal values method, I would get F alone. But also, I could get F alone, right? So, and it wouldn't be that difficult. It would look like 3 times F equals negative 7t plus 55, and then therefore F would equal negative 7/3 times t plus 55 over 3 also. And I could then set this particular value of F equal to this particular value of F and solve. But the thing that we discussed in class today was using the other method, not the equal values method, but the method of substitution. So if I look at this value of F, right, this thing that I'm circling in red is equivalent to F, and I can replace F in the second equation with this thing that is equal to F, right? 2t plus 1 is equal to F, so I can rewrite that second equation with that, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this equation, and I'm going to rewrite it as 7 times t plus 3, and then here's F. F is 2t plus 1, and then that equals 55 points. So this equation is nice because I just have the t's, and I'm going to solve for the number of touchdowns, and then I could plug in to figure out how many field goals they scored also. So this, I'll use the distributive property. 3 times 2 is 6t, and then of course it has to be 3 times the 1 plus the 3, and that equals 55. If I combine those, 7 and 6 is 13, so I've got 13 times t plus a 3 equals 55. We can subtract 3 from both sides, so we have that 13 times t is equal to 52. And then finally I'm going to divide both sides by 13 here, so divide this side by 13 and this side by 13. 13t divided by 13 is just plain old t, And it turns out 52 divided by 13 is rather nice. It's 4. So they scored 4 touchdowns. And now to figure out how many field goals they scored, I'm just going to plug this value 4 into this equation here. So I know now that t is 4, so that's going to give me an easy way of figuring out f. So let me just write that. Number of field goals is 2 times the number of touchdowns, and then 1 more than that. So 8 plus 1. So the number of field goals is 9. So the team scored 4 touchdowns and 9 field goals.